but it may be very closely related.
Yeah. Now I want to get into sort of, in the past couple of weeks, UCD Pulp has been involved in setting up encampments here in protest of Israel's aggressive military policy. I'd love to learn about your sort of approach to handling these kinds of demonstrations. How does a university chancellor, think about the right way to respond or facilitate
Yeah, I think
safety?
I sent a statement out immediately when the encampment was formed, supporting the right of the students to express themselves freely, and we'll stand by that as long as there's no violence or vandalism or things that we can't tolerate. Now, there's a fine line there. There are policy issues that will ultimately have to be decided. In theory, you can't camp on the quad, right? It's a policy violation. But we're trying to give the students a little room to given the amount of pain and suffering that they felt as Palestinian or pro-Palestinian or Muslim or Arab students, and we're trying to figure out a way to resolve the issues and respond to the requests that they've made in a way that's acceptable to the entire campus. It may not be something that everyone agrees with, but at least responds to the concerns they've expressed.
Yeah, and earlier we touched on how difficult it is to differentiate between speech that's hateful and offensive versus speech that's actually threatening. And I think, this line of demonstrations, when does a demonstration sort of cross the line into it being threatening, is even more blurry.
Yeah.
How do you think about deducing when a student demonstration crosses the line? Is it when they're disrupting classes, when they're maybe sort of posturing themselves in a very aggressive way towards students? How do you think about that?
Yeah, I do think disrupting classes certainly is over the line. I think when you're interrupting the egress or ingress or egress to buildings and things like that, or occupying buildings, I think that crosses the line. Certainly when you vandalize a building or structure, violence is an obvious crossing of the line. All those kind of things are not acceptable, even if you're doing it in the name of protest. I think, it's one of these back in my day kind of comments, but I was a bit of an activist as a student, but I always had a real objective in mind to my activism. Like I wanted this particular thing to occur. And so anything, it wasn't just throwing a tantrum. It was, I wanted the university or whoever I was directing the activism toward to take a particular action. So I think that's constructive. I think that's how we make progress and move forward. I think, as much as it causes headaches for me, it pushes the envelope, pushes the conversation, pushes the discussion in a way that wouldn't happen if the protest was not happening.
Yeah. Now, at my university, SF State, there were some encampments for a while. And I think, the president met with them. And I think she met sort of like 3 out of the 4 of their demands. And it made me think a lot about what is the best way for a university administrator to engage with sort of like the demands of a student protest?
Yeah.
Well, what's your kind of like approach to engaging and maybe
negotiating? I don't know if there's a best way. I can tell you what we're doing. We have a small team of campus leaders who are engaging with the leadership of the camp, and they're having discussions. They've had 2 or 3 meetings now around their requests. I don't like demands. My only demand is there are no demands. But anyway, they're having those discussions, and we hope to reach some kind of peaceful resolution at some point.
This is the Atlas Clips channel. To stay up to date with the show, follow One on Instagram and X. To watch full-length episodes, visit Atlas by Juan Martinez on YouTube and Spotify.